Welcome to Module 1, Unit 1 of a Chromafor training course. The title of this module is Managing Basic Technical and Environmental Concepts Towards a Circular Human Resource Model, and the title of the Unit 1 is Introduction to Circular Economy. So, in this lesson, we are going to discuss more in detail what is circular economy and how it can be enforced in economic systems and in companies. Let's see together the topics. We will discuss about the main characteristics of the current economic systems, and we will understand the way in which economic systems works. Then we will give some details about linear economy, which characterize the current economic systems. Then we will talk about the basic concepts of circular economy, and then we will make the differences between linear and circular economy in order to understand the advantages in enforcing a circular economy rather than a linear economy approach. Let's start from the first point of discussion, economy. You know that in economic systems there are mainly two actors, producers and consumers. Producer as the one that transform inputs in output, so in goods and services, that are exchanges in markets and are purchased by consumers. They have different goals. Producers want to maximize their profits and consumers want to maximize their well-being. So, interacting in the market, they will reach an equilibrium, and this equilibrium grant resource allocation in the most efficient way. So, this interaction between producers and consumers is very important, and the way in which they can interact may differ depending on the business model that will be enforced in the economic systems and in the companies. That is to say, linear business model and circular business model. So, let's try to see together which are the main characteristics of the linear business model and circular business model. So let's have a look to the linear economy. Linear economy for companies grants some fast and cheap production. And it's also easy to implement and apparently is finance-based. However, it creates some problems to the system because it's a linear process that produces a very high amount of waste. And the waste has to be treated, and so there are some problems related to the harmful disposing methods and also problems from the finance point of view. That is to say that when you make a linear production system, you make some production, the production is purchased in the market, the consumer make consumption activities, and what is the result of this process is waste. Waste that is not treated, but is managed in the disposal or maybe in the incinerator in order to recover energy and to burn waste. This is not good, because there are some alternatives that are very useful from an environmental but also from an economic point of view. So, economic systems are worried about this linear economy, and because over the last decades, waste production is increasing worldwide, and so we have very high problems of managing this waste disposal. And so over the last decades, some states have started to promote policies in order to recycle and recover waste, in order to give a second birth to inputs and materials. And this is very important because, as we know, natural resources are limited, and we have also serious problems from an environmental point of view worldwide. And actually, we have also to recall that in this moment we are using more natural resources than the one that the nature can produce itself. So it means that we are using the stock of natural resources, and so the stocks are diminishing. So, let's see together which are the limits of a linear economy. We have economic laws, because if you have waste, you cannot use again waste. It seems that we are losing some economic opportunities, because you can use again with the recycling and recovering activities materials as an input. that are usually also cheaper than the one that you can find from nature. Then companies suffer from the volatility of resources prices, and this is a very important point for the goals of companies, that is to maximize profits and reduce costs. Then you also, as a company, have the risk to have interruptions in supplies, and also you contribute to the depletion of natural reserves, and you also have to manage the increased regulation in terms of waste management, and you have also to manage the economic load of waste management treatment. So, given this framework about linear economy, let's see together what is circular economy, which are the fundamentals of circular economy. Circular economy is a model of production and consumption which involves sharing, leasing, reusing, repairing, refurbishing, and recycling existing materials and products as long as possible. In these ways, the life cycle of products is extended. It means that the circular economy is an activity group that closes linear model we described before. So we close the waste, make, dispose linear model. In the way you can see from the picture, you see that there are some loops. It means that waste is not for disposal and or for incinerator, but waste can be reused in the other production and consumption activities. This is a very important aspect to understand, because the recovery of waste is important from an economic and from an environmental perspective. So, which are the main principles that inspires the circular economy? We call the 3R principle, that is reduce, reuse, recycle. Reduce what is the first step we should follow in order to reduce waste production. Reduce, it means that we have to use the minimum amounts of raw materials and resources in production processes, because it means less waste and so less pollution generation. Reuse is the second R, and so that is described for circular economy, which means that reuse, you have to maximize the reuse of products and components. So it means that you have to repair, refurbish, and remanufacture things that instead would go to disposals. And on the third R is recycle. That means that waste must be recycled as raw materials and should be put again in production processes. This is a picture that describes you more in details this hierarchy of waste. The first step we have to follow as producer and as consumer is the reduction. That means the generation of less waste. Then we have to reuse the things and the materials. So maybe we can repair and reconditioning goods and other things. Then we have to recycle, that means turning materials into a new substance of product. Then the fourth step is the recovery, which is actually the contribution to energy recovery. So you burn waste in order to get energy. And then the last option is disposal, which is landfill. Of course, the priority have to be done to the third 3R, to the first 3R, reduce, reuse, recycle. This is the main point in which a circular economy is built up. Now, let's see more in detail which are the differences between linear and circular economy. You can see from this picture, the linear economy is based on take, make, dispose, while circular economy is something completely different, because you don't have to dispose everything, but you have to recycle. And the recycling activity are really important, because you can use again products, goods that otherwise would go to landfill or to incinerators. Of course, These differences are very important because with circular economy you reduce the impact on the environment because you close the loop of the economy. And then you also have some economic advantages. I recall this point because it's very important for firms, because with the recovery you reduce costs for firms and so you can be more competitive in the market. Let's see again another picture about the differences between linear and circular economy. On the left side you can find a model that is based mainly on linear economy, and on the right you can see a picture that is based more on a circular economy. As you can see, in a circular economy you use less new resources and you produce less waste to dispose or to incinerate. And you have more material to recover and to use again in your production process or in your activities or everyday activities. So this is a very important difference that we have to keep in mind in order to understand which are the opportunities related to circular economy, that are opportunities not only for the short term but also for the medium and long term strategies companies and consumers have to consider in their daily life or in their activities. So finally, to sum up all the things we said during this lecture, this table is a synthesize the differences between linear and circular economy. About the step plan, linear economy approach is something that is organized in a take, make and dispose, while circular economy is organized in order to reduce the use of input, to recycle and to reuse. The focus of linear economy is eco-efficiency, while in circular economy we have in mind the eco-effectivity. About the system boundaries, in the linear economy you have a short term from purchase to sales, while in circular economy you have a long-term system with a multiple life cycle of raw materials and so of waste as secondary source of materials. About the reuse, the linear economy is has a downcycling perspective, while the circular economy has an upcycling and cascading and high-grade recycling. So, for additional didactic material, you can have a look to our website, www.chromafor.eu. Thank you for your attention and see you to the next lesson.